Mr. Arjona, would you lead us to an invocation, sir?
Let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessing you have bestowed upon us. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today and always. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You face the flag for pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there any public comments? No? Okay. Under presentations, on A, presentation of the departmental reports, Parks and Recreation Department, Planning Department, San Juan Memorial Library, Sanitation, Streets Department, Mr. Arjona.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners.
Good evening, sir.
Tonight, we have those 4 different departments. If there's any questions on them, the department directors are here available for any questions you may have under departmental reports.
On those potholes, are we hitting those potholes?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, currently we're working on the potholes.
I know that there by Walgreen and HEB, we have some.
Yes.
And I guess I reported to you that we have one by the north side, big ones. And, there's some, I know it's been raining, but, we just get to stay on top of it and make, continue to take care of them and not, let's not get behind on those.
Right. No, we're working on those, and we'll get on the Walgreens and the HEB side, make sure that we cover those potholes.
We got some good streets like here that has one pothole. Let's take care of it because, it becomes big and it's kind of hard to maintain.
Will do.
And summertime, swimming pools, where are we at there for the community as in swimming? Have we made any contact with, or Mr. Ponce?
The City of Alamo?
Ci-
We did acquire several passes that we're going to be issuing out to the community. Mr. Ponce, you'd like to?
Commissioner, we had the same agreement last year with the City of Alamo, where we purchased some passes where they can, the community can go pick up passes, and they'll have it's like one pass is for like 12 visits, kind of like a family pass. So they'll be free of charge. We're actually just getting it promoted on the website where they can come in, they can go to the Alamo swimming pool.
Okay, so you're going to promote it on the website?
Yes, yeah. We just got all the paperwork done for it.
Ms. Gonzalez, I was noticing on your report as far as the brush pickup on Sam Houston, you mentioned 4 times on Sam Houston and 3 times Flores. Was that because there was so much brush there, or was it that you picked it up and they ended up throwing it back out there?
Picked up on Sam Houston 3 different times. Then we went out one more time just to make sure, 'cause that's one of the major thoroughfares, and we wanted to make sure that it looked presentable. On Las Flores, I did it because they have a problem with the drainage, and with the rains that we were having, I didn't want any kind of flooding. So we went out 3 different times. And yes, we go out and they put out brush again. That's the problem that we have. We can't keep up with the brush because we go out there. As soon as we go out there, right behind us, they put the brush out again.
How are we working with planning and zoning as far as enforcing the ordinance?
Well, when we have a problem with the brush, we usually call code enforcement. And they go out there, and I think they give them a letter for 10 days, right? Well, we consider it because, not illegal, but we're letting them know that they're not supposed to bring their brush out until a week before they get picked up again.
Right, because they're not following the schedule.
No, they're not.
Right.
No, we have a hard time that way. Nebraska has been done 3 different times. I'm trying to keep it clean because that is where our, the public comes through the shrine in that. But like I said, we pick it up and, again, they dump.
Because I believe that if, for the meanwhile that we don't clean the city, it's going to be hard to enforce, this policy.
Well, my idea, if I may, Commissioner, was to go ahead and 2 times around on the brush pickup, because eventually we're going to, have less and less and less. Once we do a 2-time sweep, then we're going to send out letters and the schedule on the brush, when they can bring it out. Well, they do have, some of them do have it, but we'll bring it out again to educate the public. So let them know that, you know what, yes, we are going to come around, but just wait a week before we come around. And I think that'll alleviate a lot of the problems.
And we're not pulling your staff to different areas that are not scheduled?
The only time I do that is when we have an emergency. For instance, when we had there were a lot of trees that, were torn down in that. We had the brush crew go out there and cut the trees and pick up the brush. We couldn't leave them out there. It's dangerous. Some of them were even in the streets. Do we pull them out of schedule? Once in a great while, but I go out there to look and see why. And I went out there today, and there was this one that merited picking up ahead of schedule.
But I mean, is there people put the brush back and so forth. And again, yes, it's a problem that we'll go over later, but my problem or the calls that I get, do we have a problem or in the whole area, brush that hasn't been picked up, period? I'm getting calls saying, there's a pile over here and it's been there for a year and nobody's touched it.
Well, and you're right, and I'm not saying that it's not true. I'll give you a very prime example of what happened today. We picked up on, I think, 495, on the northeast side of 495. Not an hour went by when we got a call, they never picked up my brush. We just picked it up. It's been there for months and months and months. I know they get frustrated, and they have a right to be frustrated, but what I ask the residents to please have a little bit more patience. It's asking a lot of them, but I truly do believe with the staff that we have, that once we go around maybe another 1 or 2 more times, I believe that we are going to be on top of the brush. And not only do I believe that pretty soon in the near future, we could even have once a month pickup for the whole entire city. It's just a matter of keeping control and keeping to the schedule. That's the hard part. It's keeping to the schedule.
Now, also, I think so this month you have tire collection at the recycle?
Yes.
And I think so that's a good, thing, and just make sure you let the public know that you can take your tires to the recycle. And that's gonna help, especially if it starts raining with this mosquito, especially the mosquito. And I think so you're throwing pallets of where the water is, so that's good, keep on doing that so we can avoid those mosquitoes.
And Commissioner, if I may, Mayor Pro Tem, on the brush schedule, if the cannot wait for us to pick it up, you can bring it to the city shop. All you have to do is bring your utility bill and your driver's license, and we'll accommodate. We'll even help you take out the brush and put it in the back. I have some containers back there, and this will help the residents if they can't wait for it.
And that's Monday through Friday, right?
Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30. Okay. And as far as tires pickup, you're absolutely right. We do have it on the website. This whole entire month is tire pickup at the recycle center. And I'll give you the report on what we did for the Zika virus. As far as
You have a container there where they could take it Monday through Friday, and then Saturday from 8 to 12.
12, correct.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. On item B, presentation and discussion regarding County of Hidalgo Zika virus prevention effort meeting. Ms. Gonzalez.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, if I may, Ms. Gonzalez is going to give us a presentation on the importance of controlling the Zika virus. I know that we attended a meeting over at the Hidalgo County, so she's bringing before us some good literature and information so that we can make the citizens aware.
The mayor and I had, on Wednesday the 8th, went to the Hidalgo County. They held a conference, Judge Ramon Garcia, with the health director, Eddie Olivares. The county judge is requesting that all cities get together and try to fight the Zika virus. It's not in the valley, it's not even in the border towns right now, so there's no cases of any kind of injuries or mosquito infection here. They gave us an overview on several ways that we, the cities, can help ourselves. And that is, the most important thing is to make sure that we don't have tires all over the place, that your lawns are cut, so our right-of-ways, I'm trying to get those cut also. But they were telling us that the most important thing is to make sure that there is no standing water. Because fogging is great, but it's only 30% effective. Throwing pellets in the biscuits, the mosquito repellents, into standing water is what really helps because it kills the larvae right away. They're telling us that 725,000 people die of mosquito illnesses, not in the United States, but all over the world. And that the Zika virus is the worst because there is no cure for Zika. If you get bit, there's no cure for it. They did tell us that if we start fogging, we should start in the evenings. Don't fog when it rains because it's not effective at all. Don't fog if it's real early in the morning. It should be done in the evening. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start tomorrow. We're going to start on the north, east, and west side to fog. As far as the pellets, we're going out there and throwing pellets. As far as keeping, like I said, the right-of-ways, we're trying to, I only have 2 employees that are doing right-of-ways, but we do have a schedule, and we do have where it's the worst, so we're out there doing the weed eating and the cutting of the grass. And the tires is the biggest problem that the whole valley has, including school districts, county, and cities. What we did as the city, we went out last week on a Saturday, the employees, they went from the expressway to Owasa, from I Road to Raul Longoria, and we picked up just in that quadrant 562 tires and 90 tires during the week. We're scheduled again this week to do the same thing, but this time we're going to be on the northeast side of the expressway. It's a major problem. There's no funding for it. If we get a container, a 30 cubic yard container full of tires, it's like $400 to dispose of them. Right now, this Saturday, we had 3 cubic yarders, so you can imagine. And then I have a whole semi-truck that we're going to fill with tires that are over at the brush site. So tires are something that they're looking into. Educate the public. It's very important to let them know to keep their areas clean, no standing water in their yards. If they have running water, if there's water that's stagnant, like in your, what is that, the drain, not the drain, but
Ditch or?
ditch, thank you, Commissioner. In your ditch, if there's standing water, the first thing to do is go ahead and put the pellets, the mosquito pellets in. They're trying to see what else they can do to help with this disease, the virus, the Zika virus. And my understanding is that they're going to get together and try to go to Austin and see what they can do up in Austin to help the cities, because it's very costly.
When will they start fumigating again?
I'm not sure when they're going to.
You don't know what time they're going to start?
Oh, we work.
Fogging.
The fogging? Yeah.
We work 6 days a week. As far as we're picking up tires now, but we're also going to pick it up on Saturdays.
Right. But as far as the fogging for the
Oh,
mosquitoes?
they're going to start tomorrow.
Tomorrow at what
Commissioner.
time?
Once it gets dark.
Until it gets
Yes.
dark.
About
No.
6:30, Commissioner.
Yes, it has to get a
Are we
little,
having tournaments, Mr. Ponce, here? Yes?
but it's going to be on the north side first.
Okay,
We're going
right.
to start with the north side and then work our way this way.
So you got one truck just working.
And that, let me, I'm glad you brought that up, Mayor Pro Tem, because unfortunately, the only employee that we have that's certified, you have to be certified. You just can't put anybody in there to fog. This person can have someone in his vehicle doing the fogging. Now, I'm trying to get one of my employees certified, which would have he would have a different license. What he would do is, as long as he prepared the chemical, he can have 10 or 15 employees if he is the one that's supervising. We're trying to look into getting another fogging machine. I don't know how expensive it is. I just started looking into it. But even if I had it right now, we couldn't use it. It can only be used by the certified employee.
But you're gonna start and it's gonna be the whole week fogging or so?
No, we're going to try to do the whole week. But now that you mentioned the baseball, we have to look at that carefully, so that we don't, hurt someone.
How's the mosquito right now for baseball?
Well, right now, we're in Elsa, so, but last week, we were in, but as far as here in San Juan, I really don't know, but in Elsa, they were bad, but I think it's something that we need to, but, Mr. Ponce, is it over this week, sir, the tournament?
On Saturday.
It's Saturday?
Yeah, Monday.
And then, that's pretty much it, right?
And that would be it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And mosquitoes are probably just about the same everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, so. Any other questions from the commission? No? Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Under item 6, public hearings and ordinance. On A, hold a public hearing and authorize city manager to submit an FY16 Edward Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program, local solicitation. Chanel Borrego.
Good evening, Commissioners. The San Juan Police Department is requesting $15,712 from the U.S. Department of Justice JAG program. Funds will be used to purchase 5 digital mobile radios with accessories. The equipment will enhance officer safety and provide additional communication during high-risk incidents such as hostage negotiations, barricaded subjects, high-risk felony warrants, and search warrants. In order to be eligible for award, the application requires governmental review and an opportunity for public comment. So that's why I asked that we have a public comment today.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open this up at 6:17 p.m. Is there anyone for or against this matter? For or against? I'm going to go ahead and, commission, and anybody have any questions regarding this matter?
No.
No? We'll go ahead and close it at 6:17 p.m. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. On item B, consider the second final reading of an ordinance for conditional use permit to operate portable food concession stand at O'Reilly's Auto Parts Store located at 801 North Raul Longoria, legally described as the west 419.24 feet of the north 381.12 feet of Lot 27, Block 8, John Klausner subdivision, as requested by Carlos Cantu.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Commissioners, good evening.
Good evening.
At the last meeting, you asked for a letter from corporate, and what I was able to get is an email from the supervisor. He's the supervisor for all the O'Reillys from Laredo to the Valley. So the email that he sent me is in your packet. They like having things like this in their parking lots because it brings them business. If the place is successful, they're hoping to sell more parts. So that's why they like to
I'm gonna
allow
go-
these things.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and open this up for, at 6:19. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Members of the commission, any questions?
No, so the supervisor said it was all right. I mean, I guess as in the regional director of the O'Reillys, San Juan O'Reillys wants it there as well, so they want it there.
Everybody wants it there.
So you have an email
Yeah, it's in your packet.
like this.
If I'm not mistaken, is this Roger Martinez email? Oh, I kind of breezed through that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he supervises all the O'Reillys from Laredo to the Valley. Since I was talking to him, I figured, well, let me ask him if he wants to. We don't have an auto parts store in the north part of town, so I asked him
to look at our north side of town to build a store over there, so did some economic development while I was talking to him.
And if I may just, real quick, along with the email, they also submitted a release of liability so that they're not gonna be hold themselves liable if anything may happen on the all dining.
Yeah, that's the only thing they require, is they have to sign that waiver in case anything happens.
Any other question from the commission? I'm going to go ahead and close this 6:20. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Item C, consider adoption of ordinance in the first reading, updating the City of San Juan Code of Ordinance prohibiting the use of properties for businesses parking if not properly paved. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, enclosed, please find enclosed ordinance amendment to the city's parking ordinance that will make it illegal to park motorized vehicles in unpaved commercial properties or in properties used for commercial purposes. Enclosed, please find a list of properties that have unpaved parking areas in the city of San Juan. If the ordinance was to be adopted, all of the properties listed in the packet will be in violation of the ordinance. The purpose of the ordinance is to remove unsightly parking areas in the community and to prevent stormwater pollution from reaching the Arroyo Colorado. Something that the city manager and I discussed this afternoon is, if the ordinance is adopted, is to give the property owner some time to comply. So the idea is not to fine owners right away. So the idea is to get them, maybe give them till the end of the year to pave those parking areas. So the idea is to work with the owners as much as possible to improve the parking areas.
I'm going to go ahead and open this item C up at 6:22. Is there,
This is not a public hearing.
no, it's not, oh, I'm sorry. Discussion, okay.
Okay, so 6 months, basically, we want to get a list of who, I guess, applies to this.
The list is in your
Yeah,
packet.
that's-
There may be a few businesses that I may have missed, so it's not a complete list. There may be 2 or 3 more, but this is a preliminary list that I have so far. So the idea is, if the ordinance goes through, to send them letter, to get them to come in, to try to get them to work something out, to give them some time to be in compliance. Maybe give them the rest of the year, or maybe a little longer. The key is to treat everybody kind of the same, right?
This was the item that you were talking, that some people were grandfather and or grand,
These
Are these new locations,
no,
old
these
locations?
are old businesses. These are old businesses.
So approving this, nobody will be grandfathered?
Well, this is parking areas. This is not buildings.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, grandfathering applies to buildings,
Only buildings.
not to parking areas.
Also kind of gets into health and safety, and it's something that I think the city probably needs to do, and kind of keep and make them do it.
Okay.
And of course, give them some grace period, give them a little bit of time to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I understand that. The problem that I have is how many of our facilities don't have paved parking? Because we should lead by example. And if our facilities don't have paved parking, then why should we require our businesses to do the same? We do it within the 6 months, then we can, in my opinion, have our businesses do the same. I've had several complaints about the recycling center, and especially when it rains. So I think that's all I'm saying. We have to lead by example, and if we can't do it, then we should hold our tongue. And
Mr. Cervantes, okay, say one of these businesses says, I can't pave, I don't have the money, or whatever, the financials are going to be the big problem. I won't use it for parking.
Yes, that will take care of it. If they
So
don't
that
use
takes care
it,
of that, but now they can't, whatever business that we're talking about, they can't park cars there no more.
yeah,
So, but that's a way to get out of,
that's a way to get out of it by not using it for parking.
Now, on the businesses that you list here, nowhere here does it say that how long they've been in business.
No, I mean, some of them are, could be 5, 10 years, others are gonna be 30, 40 years. And the ordinance is not gonna differentiate, how long they're,
Now, have you gotten any feedback from any business owners in reference to this
no.
item on the agenda? Even made any contact with anybody out there who owns businesses?
I've gotten several. And I knew it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. I mean, it's not something just, okay, sorry, you gotta go pave it. Whoa, when they bought the property, how long have they had the property? When they bought it, was that part of the plan? I mean, again, there's a lot of contracts or, that,
Actually, when you buy the property, I think it's the city that has to put the ordinance about the paving, because any business that puts a business knows that they're gonna have to have paving, parking to pave. The only thing is that if we're passing the ordinance now, we gotta work with people to allow them enough time. And sometimes, right now, the economy is down, so I don't expect everybody to have the money to do it. But, you gotta set like from now on, all businesses that come must provide a parking. From now on, and then those that are gonna be caught in between, we gotta work with them and see how we can get them. Might take a year or two, we don't know. I've been talking to different people in business, and the economy, for them, the economy is hurting. So I gotta understand that our local businesses are hurting too, so.
One of the businesses that's on here is Amigo Propane on Cesar Chavez. How long did it take us to fix Cesar Chavez? I mean, that's what I'm thinking about, because we're dragging our feet and getting our streets fixed, and yet we want them to do it within 6 months? Come on.
I just think we gotta bring this back though, but I would like to maybe
No,
have a,
This is something here, it's really, we're really gonna have to dissect this issue and sit down and figure out how we need to approach this, because understand that the whole object here is to beautify the city, but at the same time, I mean, you have owners who've been in business for 30 years, and like Commissioner Garcia mentioned, they may be hurting. But my suggestion at this time is to go ahead and table this item. So make a motion to table.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. It's tabled. Item 7, contractual and resolutions. Consider the approval of Amendment Number 1 to the interlocal agreement between the City of San Juan and Hidalgo County for provisions of rural emergency service. Chief Garza.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. There was, on this contract is for our ETJ, extraterritorial jurisdiction. What we did, we modified, there was a modification on the map to set the boundaries for our area, which will square off the city. So we're just bringing it for approval. It's pretty much basically the area that we've always covered. Any questions?
Any questions from the,
So it's totally the same?
Correct, yes, sir. Well, there was some modification when it was brought before, because the issue with, on the south side with FAR. But they went ahead and approved and said, let's just go ahead and stay with our straight lines, which is from Cesar Chavez to I Road, and then Owasa all the way to the river. So it's pretty much our jurisdiction.
any other questions? So is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's been approved. Thank you, Chief. I'm going to go ahead and go back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
I skipped one. I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. On D, consider adoption of the interlocal agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the City of San Juan regarding the FY 2016 Community Development Block Grant. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, enclosed, please find an interlocal agreement with Hidalgo County. The program is requesting from the City of San Juan to obtain the fiscal year 2016 Urban County Program funding. As approved during the November 10 meeting from last year, The budget for that fiscal year is the following: 3,000 for administrative expenses, 4,000 to senior community outreach, 7,500 to Amigos del Valle, 7,500 to the Boys and Girls Club of Alamo and San Juan, 5,000 to Casa of Hidalgo County, 5,000 to Nuestra Clínica del Valle, and 247,535 for street improvements. The street improvements will cover the materials and engineering expenses associated with the repaving of Salazar Street from Pulling Avenue to Coconut Palm Avenue, also Pulling Avenue from 495 to Salazar Street, also Hooper Avenue from 495 to Salazar Street, and Coconut Palm Avenue from 495 to Salazar Street.
If I may, on this item, we approved it back in December, the breakdown. Now we're going before the urban county for the interlocal agreement.
Any questions from the commission?
One of the questions that I had at the time, did they all submit the request? I know there were some pending requests for funding, or are we still lacking any requests for funding from Amigos del Valle or Boys and Girls Club or?
Well,
CASA?
if you remember, they asked for funding, and in the November meeting from last year, this is what the city commission approved to give to each agency. So
Yeah,
that's,
we have a formal request from. each-
yes,
Okay.
we do.
On this item, we're asking for consider adoption of the interlocal agreement as recommended.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion, thank you, sir. Let's go ahead and move to B. Consider authorizing the city manager to declare various items as salvage and surplus property. Ms. Gonzalez.
I'm bringing this for you. It is property that is seized, they're seized vehicles. The police department is going to go ahead and take them to the auction, to auction the vehicles at Bonds and Bonds. It's just a cleanup.
And within your packet, you have a list of the vehicles that are to be auctioned off.
Any questions from the member of the commission? If not, motion to approve.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Item C, consider the approval of mid-year budget amendment in the amount of, there's a correction there, instead of 415,000, it should be 424,000 out of the utility retained earnings account, 55,000 out of the general fund balance to fire department, and 60,000 out of the general fund balance to police department. Mr. David Salinas, Director Utilities, Chief Garza, Fire Chief, and Chief Gonzalez, Police Chief.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, we're that time where we're asking for budget amendments. I know that there's three departments that brought forward some requests. Mr. Salinas from the Utility Department, Mr. Tirso Garza from the Fire Department, and Police Chief, Chief Gonzalez. There's several items, Mr. Salinas will be going over them or unless you have any questions specifically, so he can answer.
Go ahead and go over them so we can.
Mayor Pro Tem, there's quite a big list is in your packet right now. The major items that we're really concerned with is the electrical cost at the wastewater plant. Unfortunately, when the budget was put together, the second half of the plant had been put online, so there was no numbers to compare for the previous 3 years, so they didn't have a good estimate of what the electrical consumption was going to be. So that's going to be about 144,000 amendment to the budget to be able to cover the additional cost of the electricity for the rest of the year. And that's just to break even. And this is our best guess right now because it hasn't been online for the entire year yet. So that's that one there. And then there was a $60,000 shortfall on the water side for an existing PO that was open that just was an encumbrance that was carried over for the current construction that's there for the water plant. So that's the other bulk of the matter. And then there was the water issue with the water treatment plant. For several years, the water consumption at the water plants weren't being registered or weren't being accounted for, and that caused a huge unaccounted for water loss in our reports to the state of Texas. So the costs there were substantially a lot more than was budgeted, so that's another 40,000 there just for the water plant alone. Just to explain that cost is the water plant uses the water to inject chemicals to treat the water at the same time. So that's why there's a huge amount of water being used at the water facility. And then the other large item on there was the disposal fees for the sludge at the wastewater treatment plant. There's a lot more sludge being produced because of the fact that we have two facilities. The whole facility's online now. The whole 4 million gallon facility is online now instead of just half of it before. So that's accommodating for that cost. There's a bunch of minor stuff in there, but those are, in bulk, those are the largest items that are making up that 0.4 million. If there's any questions on that, I just don't want to go through the entire list. I can if you want.
No.
It's just a huge amount of items, but those are the larger bulk items.
So this coming from the fund balance?
Yes, sir. Right now, the fund balance sits about 1.2 million. The estimated, what we call surplus after the collection of this year is going to be, once we close out the year in revenues, it'll be about just north of $500,000. To put that in there, the fund balance would be about 1.3. Of course, those are unaudited numbers, so we're looking at about $1.3 million that will remain in the fund balance, which should cover the 25% that we normally like to retain in the earnings in the event of emergency.
So we're taking the 424 from the fund balance completely?
Correct.
So if we have 1,200, we're gonna end up with 800 in the fund balance?
We have 1.2 million, yes, we'll end up with that. Yes, about 100,000 there, and then we'll continue to add revenues. Right now, it's projected that our current revenue collection will be at about $500,000 above what we projected. So that'll go back into the fund balance to make up the difference that we're amending this year.
Besides 124,000, we're also taking from the fund balance the 55 and the 60 additional to that, or that's?
No, we're
included?
taking out the entire,
That's included.
that's included in there.
Commissioner Garcia, for clarification on this particular item, this is coming out of utility fund,
Yeah.
not
It's
our
not a
fund
general
balance.
fund, this is out of retained earnings.
No, but still a bigger number, that's
Yes,
why
it
we're
is.
asking, and making sure that the public's
Correct.
aware of what we're doing.
Right.
Because, to make an adjustment of 424,000 at this point,
Yeah.
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 And I have a question for it, so.
No, and I totally understand. But unfortunately, like I said, there was no numbers to refer back to. The largest one is the electrical. But there was the best they could do when they put the budget together, and now we have better numbers, so that's why we're projecting the current numbers to the end of the year.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're pretty much of course, at the mid-year. We're looking into finishing off the year, and I'm requesting approval of 55,000 to go into the overtime to finish off the year with the remainder of what's left. That'll be coming out of the general fund, correct?
Yes.
You said
Any
the
questions?
general fund?
Correct. This is out of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
general
your
fund. Yes, sir.
55,000.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Garza, are we in, as far as,
Right now, our fund balance on the general fund is 1.5 million. So between the fire department and police, we're gonna be hitting it by 115,000.
850,000?
150.
Oh,
150.
We'll take it.
And we have 1.5 right now.
I'm here to answer any
yeah, any
questions that you all
questions?
might have.
Chief, your recommendations, I mean, you know what you want and stuff, and I'm
Appreciate
always
it.
gonna agree with what you guys are. My concern is just the numbers. Just as long as we make sure where we're at and so forth, then we're not hurting, but that's no questions.
thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners.
Good evening, Chief.
Same budget amendment, we're asking for 40,000 to be added to our overtime. Last year, we budgeted 100,000. 46,500 goes to the HIDA officers, the task force officers that we should get reimbursed every year. There was this money was supposed to come from the asset forfeiture account, and we're gonna make those adjustments this year. On the other part, we're asking for 20,000 for civil service legal fees and process for the remainder of the year. we have some cases that we need to cover on that, so we're asking for the $60,000 for, to cover both the overtime and the civil service costs.
Chief, you said the forfeiture fund was supposed to cover this?
Well, we have also money on the forfeiture fund, plus our grants. And the HIDA, the task force officers, we get reimbursed. We have 3 officers assigned to the DEA. We got marshals, U.S. Marshals, and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which is ICE. And they reimburse us for a total of $46,500 every year. And this year, we're gonna make that adjustment and add it to this budget. So the $100,000 that we budgeted last year includes that $46,500. So we usually budget about $180,000 only for uniform services for the department. So this year, since we got many grants and we're very successful with the grants, so we allocated about $80,000 in grant money, and also we only asked for $100,000 in the overtime. But unforeseen things happen throughout the year, and calls for service and so forth, and like anything else. So we're at that point right now. That's what we're asking for, those $40,000, so we can cover the remainder of the next quarter.
Thanks. Chief. Questions from me?
Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. A resolution of support from the City of San Juan, Texas, supporting State Highway 68 in Hidalgo County, Texas, a north-south rural divided highway with future main lanes, overpasses, and interchanges on the east side of Hidalgo County. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, the Texas Department of Transportation has a project to build a state highway that will provide an alternate route to US 281. The project will commence at the Valverde, which is FM 1423 with the Expressway 83 intersection area, and it's going to travel north parallel to US 281 and will eventually merge with 281 at FM 490, which is north of Edinburgh. TxDOT is conducting the necessary environmental studies at this time, and no specific road alignment has been selected. There is a map in your packet that shows the different corridors that they're considering. And we also have officials here from the Hidalgo County MPO and TxDOT in case you have any questions.
Mr. Is Homer Basan, can you come to the podium, sir?
Sure.
Can you inform the community as far as what's going on? I
Sure.
know you also mentioned who's here?
MPO.
MPO? Okay.
Hello, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. My name is Homer Basan. I work for the Texas Department of Transportation here at the FAR office. We're here to get a resolution of support for the need of the project. We had a public meeting in March that was very well attended. We had around 400 people show up. This is truly a regional project for the area. That's why we're asking resolutions of support for the entire area, all the local governments inside the MPO area. And the MPO sent out resolutions to all the local governments asking for the support. At this point, the status is, we started this project in 2013. We were focusing on one area in the Valverde area that Mr. Cervantes was mentioning. And at that time, because of the amount of impacts, what we did is we increased the study area. It was shown there, like you can see it kind of shaded in yellow there. And now we're studying other corridors. We're studying, for example, 907, we're studying, which is Alamo Road, or 1423, Valverde Road, we're also studying 493. And as was mentioned, we haven't made a decision yet. We're planning on having a public meeting around November of this year. And at that time, we'll have more information and more, a better handle on maybe narrowing it down to about 2 or 3 alignments at that time. Next spring or so, in 17, we should have a final decision made on the final route for the State Highway 68. So that right now, that's what we're asking for now, just a resolution of support on the need for the project. We don't, an alignment hasn't been made yet and a decision on it. We just want the support from the region on the need for the project. That's what we're trying to gauge.
So there's no later down the road, get a bill that we owe money or anything like that. It's just,
The way the alignments are right now, how the alignments are, the one furthest closest to San Juan is 907 Alamo Road, so there will be no monetary impact to the city.
Okay.
No direct
Okay.
impact.
thank you, sir. Is there anything you want to add, Mr. Andrew? You want to come to the podium, sir? I appreciate you gentlemen being here this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and I didn't make it earlier. I had a meeting run long at my office. I just want to reiterate what Homer said. This is a resolution for the need of the project. No one's specifically asking anyone to consider, approve, or adopt a resolution on an alignment, where the project is going to go, what type of project it's going to be, just that we need it. And I think we're all in agreement that with the interchange that we have at I-69C and Interstate 2, and the lack of funding that we have right now to be able to address that project, this is a project that in the future could definitely provide some relief for that. It's a needed project. Where it's going to go, where it's going to align, I can't say today. I've sat through several meetings and no one's ascertained or made that decision yet. But there is definitely a need for a project of this scope, this magnitude, and we received a significant amount of money for it, a little over $80 million for this. So I'm glad that you asked the question of Mr. Bazan, because we're not looking for any local commitments at this juncture, because we have the funding in place to secure for all of the environmental review of the project, and then funding in place for some of the construction, the majority of the construction as well, once and whenever that alignment is decided upon and taken care of. But today, it's just a resolution that we need a project of this magnitude and this scope for the area to try to develop it and to continue to show our commitment to the commission, to TxDOT, and to the other elected officials that we're all mindful that there is a need for something like this in the valley.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any questions for these gentlemen, members of the commission? No?
No, Mayor Pro Tem.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those favoring say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Item E, consider a budget amendment to the Planning Department's budget to transfer funds in the amount of $25,750 for the construction of the sidewalk project. Mr. Cervantes.
Yes, the low sidewalk project, which is the redoing of the sidewalk along Nebraska, the west side, from First Street to the Furnace Road, and then First Street along the north side from Oblate to Veterans Boulevard. Is the low bid came in at $123,555. However, there is only $107,821 left in the account from the Valley Metro grant. As a result, there is a funding shortfall of $15,734 to fund the project. Since the funds have been spent this fiscal year on sending animals to the animal shelter, have been less than originally estimated, staff projects to spend $76,800 by the end of the fiscal year as compared to $135,000 that was budgeted for this task. Since staff started taking the animals a few weeks ago to the City of Westlaco Animal Shelter instead of Palm Valley Shelter, additional funding will be saved. From those savings, we're proposing to transfer $25,750 from the shelter, animal shelter category to this project, and leave $10,016 additional in case of change orders. And this will allow us to complete the funding for the sidewalk project.
Any questions from the commission?
The whole project, after, we do approve this, when's the
The project should commence like in 2 or 3 weeks, and it should last 3 months. And the portion along Nebraska is going to include brick pavers. So it's going to be a really nice addition to the city. On First Street, it's just going to be a concrete sidewalk, completing the ADA ramps at the intersections over there. But along Nebraska, along the west side, from First Street to the Furnace Road, it's just going to be really, really nice. You're going to like the new sidewalk with the brick pavers. and most of it will be funded by the grant.
Any other questions? No? Is there a motion to approve? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. On consent agenda, item A, B, C, D, E, F, approval of minutes of May 24, 2016, May 26, 2016, and May 31st, 2016. Is there anything we need to pull out or modify? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting has been adjourned. Thank you.